Hello. In this video here, I'm going to show you guys a few tips and hints when working with Packet Tracer. The first thing that I'm going to do here is actually start Packet Tracer and maximize the window. So the first tip that I have for you is how to add multiple devices to your workspace. So to do that, to add more than one device at the same time to your workspace, you're going to be using the Control key. Let's say I want to add 5 PCs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click End Devices here, and then while I hold down Control key, I'm going to select the PC. Now, even though I let go the Control key, I'm not holding the Control key anymore. When I move my mouse, I can simply add as many PCs as I want without having to reselect the PCs from the bottom bar. This is very handy when adding up devices to your topology. Once you're done, all what you have to do here is to press the Escape key, and the PC icon on the bottom of the screen is not selected anymore. On Packet Tracer, another very handy tool is the Select tool. With this tool, we can create an area by holding down the mouse button and creating a rectangle around the devices you want to select at the same time. And once they are selected, you can move them around as a whole. Once you're done, you can click on any empty area of your screen to undo the selection. The Control key is very useful when working with cables as well. Let's just say we're going to have a switch on our network and I want to cable the PCs to the switch. It's very easy to do so by entering Connection submenu, and from here holding down the Control key while we select the proper cable, in this case the straight through cable. Once the cable is selected while holding the Control key, you can let the Control key go and from the PCs cable every single one to the switch without having to reselect the cable type from the bottom portion of Packet Tracer's screen. Once we are done, all we have to do is to press the Escape key to exit the cable. If you want to organize this topology better on your screen, you just make sure the Select tool is active, create a rectangle around the devices, and move them as you please. It's also possible to remove devices at once. So let's just say we're going to add 6 routers to our topology. So I click on the router icon right here. From the router icon, I can pick the router type. In this case, I'm going to pick 1841. But before I click on 1841, I'm going to hold down the Control key. This way I can add multiple routers to my workspace. So let's say I'm going to add 6 routers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And later on, I decide I don't need them anymore. What I can do is I can select the Select tool, create a rectangle around the routers, select all of them at the same time, and from this point I can click on the red X. Packet Tracer will offer me to delete all 6 routers at the same time. Very handy as well. So the next tip I'm going to show you is about Packet Tracer modes. Notice that Packet Tracer has 2 major modes, real-time mode and simulation mode. The difference in between these modes is that under the real-time mode, time always moves forward and moves at the same speed as the real world. This might sound a little odd, but it's important to notice that when we are learning some of the protocols used on the networking, the protocols work too fast. So sometimes it's hard to see the packets flowing through your network or even what's going on. So Packet Tracer also has what we call the simulation mode. The simulation mode allows us to slow down time or even go back in time if necessary in order to see what's going on with the packet while flowing through the network. So how do you know in which mode you are? Packet Tracer default mode is the real-time mode, and you can see that by looking at this area of the screen. If you want to switch to the simulation mode, all what you have to do is to click on the tab behind. And now we're in the simulation mode. Real-time mode, simulation mode. It's important to notice that, as I mentioned before, real-time mode is the default. So when you open Packet Tracer, that's going to be the mode Packet Tracer will start on. Make sure you are on the correct mode before you start working. The simulation mode is a very powerful tool. The first thing we notice when we switch to the simulation mode is this new window right here called Event List. This window is the window we're going to use to control all the events that will be happening under simulation mode. These buttons right here, Back, Capture, and Auto Capture, are used to control the events on simulation mode. These buttons, Back, Auto Capture, and Capture, are replicated on this yellow bar right here. So if you think this window is taking up too much space, we can just minimize it and work on simulation mode through these buttons right here. To show you how powerful the simulation mode is, I'm going to generate a simple packet to flow from PC0 to PC4. Notice that we have the tool here. What I'm going to do is to pick the tool Add Simple PDU from this menu on the right side of my screen. Once I select this tool, I can pick the source, which is PC0, and the destination, which is PC4. Now, make sure that you have IP addresses on all PCs before you add a PDU to the network, or else it won't work. So once we specify who is going to be the source, in this case PC0, and who is going to be the destination, in this case PC4, we can start controlling the simulation. If we use this key right here, this button right here, Capture/Forward, this button moves times forward one step at a time. So if I click it once, Packet Tracer will move the packet from PC0 to the switch. That's the first step. If I want to go back and see what happened in some specific point in the past, I can use the back button right here. Notice that by using the capture button, you have to press this button every time you want to see the next step. If you want to get Packet Tracer to do that for you, you can use the auto capture, which means that Packet Tracer will move that packet through your network automatically. As we can see here, the simulation mode is slowing down time to show us exactly the path the packet from PC0 to PC4 would take. If you want to learn more about real-time mode and simulation mode, I would suggest you to take a look on Packet Tracer's help. Under Tutorials, there is an entire section on real-time and simulation mode. Make sure you download the tutorial files when you download Packet Tracer. Let's go back to the real-time mode, and I'm going to show you some tips regarding the PCs. If I pick PC0, I open up the window. And if I go to the Physical tab, we can see the PC right here. Packet Tracer will allow us to replace a module. In this case, we have a PC running with a network card. We can see the network card right here. And we can also see a list of modules on the left side of our screen. So in order to replace a card module in Packet Tracer, it doesn't matter if a PC or a router, Packet Tracer requires us to power off the device we're working with. In this case, the PC, if I want to replace this network card, I have to power the computer off. So to power off a PC, I have to click on the power button right here. Notice that the PC has a little light, a little LED on top of the power button. Once I power off this computer, this light will be turned off. So let's power off this computer. There we go, the computer is powered off. Now I can, by clicking and holding down the mouse button on the network card, I can drag it back to the list. There we go, the module was removed, and now we can install another one. Let's just say I want to install this first module right here. What I do is to click on it and drag it to the PC's slot. Once this module is installed, I can power on the PC again. See, if you try to replace a module while the PC is on, Packet Tracer will give you an error back, stating that the PC is on, and because of that, it's not possible to replace the module. Another tip here is, let's power the PC off once more. Another tip here is, if we try to remove a module and place it on the blank area of this bar, Packet Tracer won't let us do it. In order to remove the module, we have to drop the module on top of the list itself. And one more tip here is, when you exit Packet Tracer and you're trying to close down a window, Packet Tracer always offers you to save your work. No matter if you just saved or not, Packet Tracer will always ask you if you want to save your work. So it's a good policy to always answer yes to make sure you won't lose anything. And as our very last tip here, we're going to be looking into how to download a Packet Tracer activity from ITE 4.1 curriculum and how to open the activity in Packet Tracer. It's just that your students are studying the online content, and you have, as this page here, 8.9.2. At the bottom of the page, you have a Packet Tracer activity link. How do you open this activity in Packet Tracer? So you click on it, and the web browser will offer you to save this file. You can say save or open. If you hit open, the web browser will launch Packet Tracer for you, but you can save and keep it on your disk and open later, even without internet access. So I'm going to save it on the desktop. The name is 8.9.2.pka, and the file is saved. Another way to reach the labs on the online content is if you go through Index, and then you go to the icon on the top, say Labs. From here, you can also reach the same file. There's a link. If you click, the web browser will offer you the same thing. You want to save or open. I'm not going to do neither because I just got the file, but there's just another path to find a lab within the online content material. So once we have the activity here, all I have to do is to double click on it, and the operating system will launch Packet Tracer for us. Notice two windows. This window right here that I'm moving is the window with the information to accomplish all the tasks on this lab. The window with some sort of instructions. Is a window with some guidelines for you to complete your lab. The other window is Packet Tracer's window, where you're going to be doing all the work. So following these steps, you're going to use this topology right here to accomplish the tasks that are being asked. Once you're done, you can hit the check results, and Packet Tracer will show you how well you did, which are the items you already accomplished and which are the items that you didn't. At this point, we didn't do anything, so that's why it says it's incomplete. If you go to assessment items, you're going to notice that we have a few items we didn't accomplish yet. So if you accomplish all the tasks correctly, this window will reflect that and show you a 100% score. Once you're done here, you can either save your work or simply close down this window. This is it. This was Packet Tracer tips and best practices. Make sure to check the other videos posted under the mini courses.